when I was building the Humanize AI application, I thought that why not go with the Firebase, because it's an absolute choice. It's a very simple setup, and you can do the setup in couple of minutes, and that is very simple, basic structure out there. But when you proceed with some authentication, it's a free setup. When you proceed with the Firebase setup in the Firestore database, you have to pay an upfront fee out there, which is about 1,000 rupees for the basic plan. Even if you have not yet touched the code or even the storage, you still have to pay that specific amount. Now it is not the same case with Supabase. If you go with Supabase, it is completely open source, and even it is free to host by yourself. If you want to host it by yourself, you can host that easily. But even if the free plan of Supabase offers a lot of choice, and secondly, if you want authentication, Google authentication, any other type of authentication, you still can have exactly all those features in Supabase instead of going with Firebase. Now for the web applications out there, Supabase is an absolute first choice for any SaaS builder, or even if you are starting up with a startup of yours which is completely in the field of websites, not in the field of mobile applications. You should go with Supabase as a clear choice from my own experience. Also, secondly, if you see the structure of databases or the language that they use or the type of database they have, is Firebase is mostly NoSQL, and other hand we have Supabase, which is a PostgreSQL, which is quite, I would say, much efficient and faster if you want to build real-time applications and big applications with huge base out there. And even if you are in a phase where you can't decide which to choose over which another platform, I would say that try it for try both the platforms initially, but you will eventually shift to the Supabase because of its ease of use and the database schema that you get over there, which is not quite possible if you go with the Firebase option. And eventually Firebase has a vendor lock-in, which fundamentally means that you cannot basically go out of the Google zone. That means you have to use all the products, almost all the products of Google themselves. You cannot shift to other platforms, and that is quite a thing out there if you go with the Firebase option, but not in the Supabase. When you choose that, you have all the liberty to yourself to choose whatever you want as you want, and that is a basic and most important difference which you might feel when you are using the both. Now still, why the companies choose Firebase is because of the NoSQL support, and also it is great for mobile applications. And the last thing I want to talk about is the pricing, that is really critical out there. I have also worked with an app which has now more than 50,000 downloads, and I have seen the Firebase out there because these guys were using Firebase at the time I was working over there, and the price just skyrockets after you reach a certain point of users. And at that time you have so many users on the Firebase that it becomes really hard to get all these users and shift them to another place, and that is a huge difficult task out there. Even its slightest mistake can cost them a lot. That is why people usually tend to go with Firebase in the initial days, because it provides a lot of good features for mobile devs, but in the end it is not good for a startup out there. It is my personal choice, my personal opinion. I always think that Supabase is a plain choice for any startup or initial bootstrap people out there who want to build something from scratch without having to worry about the cost of their servers and all, and storage and all. Even Supabase don't even ask you about your bank details or your credit card details. Nothing is there with the free plan. So yeah, choice is yours. Let me know your thoughts in comment section, which platform you choose over other and why do you choose that. I think the next experience about talking about Humanize AI, I'm trying to build and learning a lot of things side by side, and also sharing my own experience with you guys. See you in the next video. Bye bye.